Most aspiring ethical hackers struggle to learn the craft for years on end. But what if you could speed up the learning process? Learn 5 times faster. I've been a penetration tester for 3 years now, and I've refined my learning process to make it as easy as possible to learn new topics. In this video, I'm going to show you how to adjust your learning approach to learn ethical hacking so fast it almost feels illegal. Subscribe to the newsletter, by the way. I send out valuable tips about how you can level up your ethical hacking skills to get your first penetration testing job. Let's get into it. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you study, you still have no clue what you're doing? You're not alone. In fact, you're probably making the same mistake as 80% of the people learning a technical skill, something called theory overload. Most beginners think hacking is about memorizing endless commands, tools, and exploits. They pile up certifications, binge watch tutorials, and bury themselves in documentation, believing that's what makes someone proficient in hacking. But when the moment comes to actually break into a system, they're stuck. Why? Because hacking isn't all about the theory. It's a big part of it, but it's not all about the theory. Hacking is a practical skill. Imagine trying to learn swimming by reading books without ever stepping into a pool. Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what happens when you overload your brain with theory. The real problem here is cognitive load, the amount of mental effort your brain can handle all at once. When you cram your head with too many commands, tools, and methods without actually using them, your brain gets overwhelmed, making it nearly impossible to retain or apply any of the information you've learned, right? Instead of getting better, you end up feeling lost, frustrated, and trapped in an endless cycle of studying without making any progress. The solution is not more theory. It's shifting to a hands-on approach that lets your brain process and apply what's important. But what exactly does this practical approach look like? Let me show you how to finally start hacking instead of just studying the theory. Here's another easy way to think about it. Forget the swimming, right? Learning hacking is like learning to fight. If you only watch videos about boxing but never step into the ring, you get knocked out the second you try to fight for real. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? The best way to master hacking quickly is through experiential cycling, which is just a fancy way of saying learn by doing. Here's how it works. Step 1, you attempt something. Let's say you're learning Nmap. Instead of watching another tutorial, you actually run a scan on a target. Step 2, you analyze the results. What did the output tell you? Which ports are open, right? Step 3, you adjust your approach. If you're looking for something specific and you think your initial scan missed it, try different flags or maybe a more aggressive Nmap mode. Step 4 would be to evaluate and refine your technique. That is it. That is the cycle. The more times you complete this loop, the faster you improve. Most people never complete the experiential cycling loop. They either get stuck watching instead of doing, or they try something once something fails the initial time and give up. Kind of like the Nmap scan. Just because the stuff you were looking for wasn't there, they think it's game over and they give up, but that's not the case, right? When you keep cycling through this process for each topic you want to learn, hacking starts to click way faster than if you just memorize theory. This brings us to the next big problem: how to practically apply this loop in a more broad sense for each topic that you may learn, right? Most people take too long to master hacking because they don't balance the theory and the practice correctly. If you only study theory like we've been talking about, you'll never know how to execute. If you only practice without learning the concepts, you'll be blindly clicking around without understanding what's happening. Here's the key though. If you watch an hour-long SQL injection tutorial, you should spend the next 5 hours actually performing SQL injections on vulnerable machines and vulnerable targets. If you study privilege escalation for 30 minutes, spend at least 2.5 hours testing privilege escalation techniques on a practice machine. This is how you practically apply these learning techniques. This is called the 5-1 rule. For every 1 hour of theory, spend 5 hours practicing. And it's not just practicing the same thing. You're practicing different scenarios and applying the theory in different use cases. When you learn this way, hacking becomes muscle memory, and you stop feeling like you need to rewatch tutorials every time you try something. Sure, here and there you might need to go back to the theory, but that's kind of the point, applying theory in real time. This then leads us to the final piece of the puzzle: Commitment. Most people fail at learning ethical hacking because they never fully commit. They treat it like a side hobby, something they'll get serious about later, but later never comes. If you want to learn ethical hacking fast, you need to burn the escape plan. Right? This means putting real stakes on your learning. Sign up for the OSCP certification, commit to finishing a track me path in a set time frame, or start doing live bug bounty challenges where real money is on the line somehow, right? Maybe pay for a pro subscription on an application you want to hack on. Once you have something pushing you forward, you won't procrastinate. At least that's how it works for me, right? You won't feel stuck. You'll be forced to level up and level up fast because now you're actually burning money. One of the best ways to level up fast is to immerse yourselves in hacking every single day. Talent is not what separates elite hackers from people who get stuck. It's immersion. The fastest learners throw themselves into uncomfortable environments. They don't just practice when it's convenient or when they feel like it, right? I was never really a fan of client-side vulnerabilities, but because I knew that about myself, I forced myself to dive headfirst into improving those specific techniques over the past couple of months. Now I'm comfortable with finding client-side vulns, finding gadgets that can help me chain vulnerabilities from lows to mediums, mediums to highs, and highs to criticals, right? If you want to level up at 10 times the speed, you need to surround yourself with hacking challenges and hacking material and just environments that force you to adapt. And this is just in general. It doesn't apply to just hacking alone, right? Most people take years to get good because they only practice when they feel like it, and they practice what they feel like practicing, something they're already, comfortable with. And for me, that was always server-side vulnerabilities. But the one who goes all in will learn in months as compared to the one that will take years because they're doing it here and there. And that is, to be honest, how I was able to complete the OSCP in 6 months of study and pass it on the first attempt. If you don't have the OSCP, and maybe you're interested in knowing how I prepared for it, passed it, and what I learned from the entire OSCP journey, check out this playlist on screen. I have a ton of videos documenting my preparation, the exam, and then the outcome. Join the Discord as well. Link will be in the description. That is it from me. Catch you in the next one. Peace.